earlier we asked you to call in if you were struggling with a decision about leaving your partner, and Denise joins us now. Thank you, Denise. Let's get straight on with these messages. We've got a call as well we want to take. First of all, Harry. Harry said, I had a wife and left her for my male friend. This relationship is breaking down now, and I wonder if I should go back to being straight.
Well, Harry has got a lot of thinking to do. One of the things that interested me when you were talking to Michelle was that very sensibly, when she first doubted her sexuality, she waited 2 years before she decided where she wanted to be. And what I think has happened here is that he has felt an urge to be with another man and gone, and now he's not sure about where he is. And going back to his wife, he may not want to go back to his wife, he may want to be straight again. He's got to make his mind up, because if he doesn't, he's damaging people all the time. Say he goes back into a relationship with his wife, and then in a year's time he realises it's not the right place. Heartbreak for her again. So he has got to talk to the people who can help him decide where his true sexuality lies. If he is going to have any chance of happiness, if his wife is going to have a chance of happiness, he has to make a decision.
Yes, and you say talk to the people around him, and the person he's got to talk to really is himself.
Absolutely, he's got to talk to himself, but there are people who can inform him, who can help him to think this through. It's a question of taking time. You cannot hop about because it always involves somebody else.
Well, that's what I was going to say as well. It seems he's come from a marriage to a relationship, and now he's going, who shall I be with next? Like, be on your own for a moment. Just work out what's going on in your own head.
I've known in so many instances of straight relationships where somebody's gone off with somebody and then thought, why did I do that? I want to be back with my wife and children, and come back and then again.
It's not worked.
And it isn't fair.
It's not fair. Right, we've got Sandra now. She says, I've been married for 43 years. We haven't been getting on. He's been nasty to me, and I don't sleep with him anymore. One of the reasons I stay is because of my daughter and grandchildren, and because I was raised without a father. I don't want my daughter and grandchildren to suffer the same loss I had.
Well, one of the things that we're always getting the statistics of what happens to children after a breakup and how disastrous it can be. But what nobody ever talks about is how disastrous it can be if there's a bad atmosphere. And one of the things that's very much influenced me is a letter that I got many years ago from a woman in her 30s whose life had been blighted because she'd grown up in a house where her father and mother hated one another. And I remember what she wrote to me. She said, I used to kneel down in the hall in my nightdress and pray they would separate, because she could hear what was going on in the living room. And that had a profound effect on me. So I think that you need to work out, if you can paper over all the cracks, if you're a saint and you can pretend that it is a happy home and your daughter and her children can come in and out and not know that anything's wrong, then maybe you should do that. But very few of us are saints. And she must, your daughter, have you ever talked to her about it, I wonder? Because she must know that there's a bad atmosphere, and maybe for her and her children it would be better to come to two homes where there is a happy atmosphere. This needs talking through, but I don't think anybody should have to serve a life. I don't think it helps anyone if people are living in misery permanently.
Well, there's a lot of people here who have been, and we were talking to Julie, sort of married for 26 years. How about this one then? I've been with my partner since school. I'm 22, so still very young. He's the only guy I've been with. I really want to break up, but we're so used to each other and scared of the big wide world. I've fallen out of love with him. I've tried telling him to leave and said how I feel 1,000 times, but he doesn't believe me, and I don't want to just throw him out, as I want to stay on good terms.
Yes, she wants to keep him as a friend, but the sexual impulse, the desire, has gone out of the relationship. How many times have I heard that story? And the sad fact is that relationships made very early on, and I think they've been together since teenage years, relationships made very early on often don't last, because the person you were at 18, the person you fancied at 18, is not the person you're going to fancy at 25 or 30. And I understand why she doesn't want to hurt him. What I would do if I was her is sit down with him and say, you know how much I care about you. You know how much I want you to be happy. I'm not sure now that I can give you the happiness that you deserve. Can we go and talk to someone about this and see whether or not we would both be happier apart? If she makes it look as though she cares about how he's going to exist when she's gone, then maybe he'll see that it's a good idea.
But
they're
very young. I mean, I can't see sort of 22-year-olds really, you know, sort of going to relate. I mean, it's one of those things where you think, you know, you're 22, it is a big wide world, and don't expect to be with the same partner throughout your entire life. And maybe you just have to be brave and say, do you know what, that was amazing, but we have to move on. You
do have to, but sometimes bringing a third party into it, and remember, Relate are very accustomed to dealing with everybody at any stage. Bringing a third party in can bring it home. You can have endless arguments in the house between you. Shall we, shan't we? It can go on forever. A third person who cares about you both but is divorced from it can make you start to think. And they need to do some thinking. Does he want a second-rate relationship simply for the sake of staying where he is, or does he want someone who'll give him 100%? She can't give him 100%, and that's what he deserves.
Thank you, Denise.